Yes, I worked with my dad after the Nazis came. Remember, the Germans marched into Austria in March of 1938, and very shortly thereafter, and the thing to remember about the difference between Germany and Austria, in Germany the suppression of the Jews it was a very gradual process. It was very slow, and I won't say imperceptive, but it was very slow. Austria was a pressure cooker. Austria, the suppression of Jews and Jewish life took weeks compared to years in Germany, literally. I mean, and went far beyond the suppression in very, very short time.
Can you describe those weeks to
Well,
me?
Yes, I will try to describe that they were extremely brutal. I personally was not involved, nor was my father at first. I'll come to that in a moment. But when Hitler started to threaten Austrian independence, there was a tremendous upsurge of patriotism among the majority of Austrian people, I would say. Without hesitation, I would say that. It very quickly changed. But there was a tremendous, and there was to be a plebiscite in Austria where the people were to vote, do you want an independent, free, democratic Austria, yes or no, kind of thing. And the German invasion stopped that, essentially. That plebiscite never took place. But there was a tremendous outpouring of patriotism, if you will, with placards and graffiti, political graffiti on all the walls.
Like, what did the placards say?
Well, the placards were to exhorting people to be good Austrians, to resist this thing. You know, it was the attempt by a semi-fascist government to arouse the patriotism of the people and say, we're Austrians, we're not Germans, we want to be free and independent. That was the line the government put forth, and which was fairly well received, despite the large minority of underground Nazi organizations. And so that the walls of the city, this is not, we have some of it here in the United States. Before an election you get posters and stuff, but it's nothing in comparison what goes on in Europe even to this day, where every spare inch of wall is covered with election posters now from various parties. Then it was just the government. Well, and also, as I said, political graffiti everywhere, both pro and con, mostly pro-independence. And one of the games, and as soon as the Germans marched in, there was a complete turnaround. The Austrians, I think, are very unprincipled people, and as their subsequent plebiscite, which was run by the Nazis, showed that 98% voted yes for the Anschluss, for the annexation of Austria. Well, this is by way of background. One of the first things the Nazis did was round up Jews, people who looked like Jews, either from their apartments or on the street, and made them scrub those placards and graffiti off the wall and sidewalks. And there are some very famous pictures which show this. People of all ages, gender, what have you, were humiliated in the most appalling fashion. That's how it started. There were some beatings, but it was mostly humiliation to start with. I mean, they would delight in finding Orthodox Jews, you know, bearded people in kaftans and the like, and make him kneel on the sidewalk and scrub the streets with lye and other solutions like that. So this, compared to what came later, this was nothing, of course. But the fact was, this is how it started. And this is the kind of thing which had never happened in Germany. It was sort of an overnight terror which was created by these people, organized by the Nazi organizations within Austria, which had been legitimized, as well as, but led by the German Nazi Party and SS and the like. Well, the next thing that happened, that while as soon as the Germans moved in, they concentrated on political opposition and rounded up all the political leaders of opposition parties, socialists, communists, and the Christian Socialist Party, Christian Social Party, which was the party in power, the sole party in power, which affected some Jews, but not many. But the interesting thing is, and a lot of people don't know, that Adolf Eichmann, you know, who had the office to do something about the Jews, already in 1938, came to Vienna and began his activities there. Now you must remember that the decision to exterminate the Jews, to have the final solution, did not really come until the end of 1941, the famous Wannsee meeting in Berlin in December of 1941, I believe. But the policy then was to get rid of the Jews, essentially, to get them to leave, and to get them to leave without all their possessions. Unlike our German brothers and sisters, who were able to leave Germany in the prior to that time with much of their possession, you know, I mean, furniture and all kinds of stuff, and some money, I suspect. But they could leave and emigrate if they could emigrate and chose to emigrate. The policy in Austria almost overnight was to take away as much as they could and get rid of them. And the first thing Eichmann did was to get the Jewish people's attention, was to arrest 5,000 Jews from all walks of life throughout the city. We don't know to this day, I haven't looked into it as to how these people were selected, but they were arrested in May of 1938, so a mere 3 months after the Germans had marched in. And my father was one of those 5,000